guys, welcome to another video. This week I figured I would take you through my IKEA cabinet, my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. I was in the middle of watering the rest of my collection and I figured that it would make a cute video that we go through this. If you're new here, my name is Chloe. I make videos about art, plants, lifestyle content, so if you want to hang out again, please do subscribe. And yeah, this is just going to be kind of like a tour. I'm going to go through each plant that I have in here and just talk a little bit about everything that's going on in here. So I got this cabinet at the beginning of 2025 and it has grown and evolved so much since then. This is obviously the yellow Fabricor. I don't know, I'll put the name on this screen. There's a lot of IKEA greenhouse cabinets that are very plain, you know, just the basic black ones, and that doesn't really fit my vibe. So I'm not usually like a pastels girl, but this just looked so vintage and cute, and I love the rounded edges, and it just looks like an antique almost. As you can see, I keep some books on top of there, a little clock. It's right next to my makeup vanity here, and it's situated in my bedroom so that as soon as you walk into the bedroom, this is the first thing that you see. So on top of it being a really beautiful decoration and eye-catching piece, it is super functional. I keep a lot of very juvenile plants in here and a lot of plants that require higher humidity. I keep the juvenile plants in here because as they are establishing themselves, I want them to have peak conditions, meaning high humidity, lots of light before I establish them in ambient conditions. So there's a lot going on in here right now. Let me bring it closer and we will be watering as we go through these. Okay, so before I take you through all of the plants that I have in here, let me just kind of take you through the setup. So this cabinet comes with 2 glass shelves. Now, in order for there to be sufficient air circulation throughout the whole cabinet, I took out those shelves and I replaced them with these acrylic shelves that have holes in them. I got them from Etsy. I'll link the shop below if you're interested. And it also creates a unique shape. So this one down here is kind of like a U shape so that I can fit these taller plants in the center. And then this one on top is just like the regular shelf shape. So as far as lighting, I have 2 Barina T5 lights on the top here. And I just have those command stripped to the top and then kind of wired through the back. And then on the lower section, I have these, I think these are Barina as well. Barina, they're just like puck lights. And those are held in place by these little magnetic hooks. You know, I wanted the plants to be facing outwards, and in order to do that, you have to make sure that there's kind of light in front here. So that's not really going to happen if it's directly above, of course. So this was my solution. I just kind of hooked it to the front and then kind of tucked it away into the corners. And it works really well. Then we got 2 computer fans back here. These are again hooked up with the little magnetic hooks to the little brackets that hold the shelves. And then in order to lock in the humidity, I took some window sealing tape. It's a transparent material, so you really can't see it. I put that along all of the edges where the glass panels are. And that increased the humidity from around 60% to around 80%. So it's usually between 75 and 85% humidity in here. Before I added the window tape, it was around 65. And I think that's pretty much it for the setup. Oh, I got some weather stripping here on the door because of course I couldn't seal the door shut, but this did not work on the glass panels. So, you know, if you do decide that you want to do a IKEA cabinet, you kind of just have to play around with the weatherproofing and try out what works for you aesthetically and functionally. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the plants, the exciting part. So first here we have my Hoya Wilbur Graves Silver. I got this at Houston Plant Con over the summer. This has grown a lot for me. It started out as a 2-leaf cutting that I purchased for $35, which is kind of crazy. I'm not a person that likes to spend a lot of money on plants, and I would rather buy the plants smaller for cheaper so that I can enjoy growing them from just a tiny little cutting. So yeah, this one started out as a 2-leaf cutting. I'm gonna rotate this a little bit so that you can see the plant better. And I just love this silver foliage. It's so beautiful. This one definitely likes the higher humidity of this cabinet. I had her outside of the cabinet for a while and she was not growing at all. So as soon as I put her in the cabinet, she started exploding and giving me these bigger leaves. But yeah, I've really gotten into Hoya this year. I love displaying them in cute trellises. I love the way they grow. I love the blooms, of course. Haven't gotten a peduncle on her just yet, but hopefully one day. But I don't even mind if I don't get any flowers on this plant because the silver foliage is just so beautiful and I love these thick waxy leaves. Okay, next we have my Alocasia Silver Dragon. This was one of the first plants that I collected. She's grown so much. She's in this self-watering pond setup here and absolutely loves it. I'm gonna have to repot soon because I don't know if you could see there's tons of roots in here, but she doesn't seem to mind. Yeah, I absolutely love this plant. It looks like a dinosaur to me. And yeah, this is actually really easy. So there's a little lip right here where you just refill the water cachet here. So I'm just gonna do that. Okay, next here we have another Hoya. This is a Hoya that's kind of given me some issues recently, but she has been growing a lot, like as of the past few weeks. She was stuck kind of right here, but then she's given me all of this growth within the past couple of weeks. So this is actually two Hoyas, you can't really tell. This longer one here is Hoya lacunosa jaguar, something leopard, snow leopard? Leopard skin. And it gets its name because of these gorgeous little leaves, obviously are kind of spotty. Yeah, really beautiful silver foliage with some black spots. This one as well really prefers the higher humidity. This one up here is actually a freebie that I got whenever I ordered another Hoya. This is just Hoya lacunosa silver. So it's almost the same type of plant, but I just kind of threw this cutting in here. This one already wasn't doing so good and I wasn't crazy about having such a similar plant. So I just kind of threw her in here and she took off. So she rooted in there and she's given some new growth, as you could see. The leaves don't look great yet, but I'm sure that once she establishes some more, she'll come in a little bit better. And this is actually a candle container from IKEA that I put this little 3-inch pot in. Not one of my favorite Hoyas, but I am happy with how it's been growing lately, so I'm not gonna complain. And she just hangs out here on the side and kind of drapes over like that. Okay, next we have a begonia, which is one of the 2 begonia that I own. I'm not a huge begonia lover. They're a little crazy for me. But this is my begonia listata. This plant is so gorgeous. I love any plant that is furry, and this one is definitely that. She has red backs, as you can see. I'm trying to control her with this trellis. If you know cane begonia, then you know they grow crazy and they grow fast. Yeah, super fuzzy plant with this gorgeous neon green stripe in the center. It's just so amazing and beautiful. I love this plant so much. Okay, next is my philodendron pink princess, which is in this gorgeous pink pot to match. As you can see, I have a moss pole in here, but she's not quite big enough to reach the moss pole. I had to start this over because she just keeps giving me all pink leaves, and it looks like she's doing that again on this main stalk. So the past 3 leaves here have been all pink, which is not good because there's no chlorophyll in the leaf. This one's kind of already starting. You can see it just looks like it's unhealthy. So it'll die off because it can't produce any energy without any green on it. With cutting it back, it reshot like 3 different growth points. So that's why it looks pretty full right now. But I'm probably gonna have to cut this back again because that main shoot just wants to give me all pink leaves. This is a pretty slow grower for me. I want it to eventually go into the moss pole and get really big, beautiful, variegated pink leaves. Like these are all really gorgeous. I have my little bowl right here that I'm just letting them drain into. Okay, next we have my Alocasia Jacqueline. So I did get this as a much larger plant, and then everything else after that was a fail. She lost all of her leaves. They all went yellow. I don't know why. Apparently this is a notoriously difficult plant, but I took all of the corms and sprouted them. So this is the baby of the mother that I lost. And there's actually 2 plants in here. It again has like a furry texture on the leaves. Another very Jurassic looking plant. There's a new leaf coming out there. And these get huge. Mine is very small. Okay, next we have Philodendron White Wizard. This plant and I have been through a lot together, and if there was a CPS for plant parents, I would have had it called on me because I have definitely mistreated this plant. So Whenever I first got this, it did have one variegated leaf on it, and then it decided to never put out a variegated leaf after that. So after changing the conditions and waiting for it to give me variegated leaves over and over, I was fed up with this plant, and so I literally went out to the back of my townhouse, dumped it out on the ground, and just left it there. And then a few months later, literally like 3 months later, I went back outside to check on it, and it was growing variegated leaves just in its soil mound outside. Yeah, she was thriving outside with no pot, on top of gravel, just growing in the dirt that already existed around the roots. And so I was like, oh, you're so funny for that. So I brought her back inside and put her in this cabinet, and she's been loving life ever since. She's giving me variegated leaves now. Like, look at this cute little half moon one. So cute. This one is really pretty. This one is also really pretty, even though it's kind of misshapen. Like, look at those colors, so gorgeous. But I do love this plant. We've been through a lot. I've mistreated her, I've babied her, and now we're in a good place in our relationship. Okay, now we're moving on to this side of the cabinet, so I'll pull this one next. This is another Hoya. This is Hoya Argentea Princess. This I also purchased as a 2-leaf cutting from Etsy for a stupid amount of money, like $35 or $40, which I know is really not that crazy in the grand scheme of all of the plant world and the collector plants and all of that, but I'm not gonna spend more than $40 on a plant. I'm just not. That doesn't make any sense to me. But this one I really wanted. The variegation on it is absolutely stunning. However, mine does not seem to have a lot of variegation. So this is one of the original leaves. You can see it has like some yellow and creamy white variegation there. It has exploded with new growth. There's like 1, 2, 3, I think there's a 4th in here somewhere, different growth points, but none of them have that white, yellow, cream variegation. It kind of looks like my Wilbur Graves silver, actually. And this does get a lot of light. It's right here in front of this puck light, so that's not the issue. I don't know, maybe it's because it's reestablishing itself from just a 2-leaf cutting, but I'm not going to complain because she's exploding with growth, so that's a good sign. Hopefully as she begins to establish, she'll give me some more variegation, because that is why I got this plant, but I'm happy with what she's done nonetheless. Okay, next Hoya here is my Hoya Bertonier. This one has not grown a lot for me, but it has flowered for me, and it's put out a few peduncles. It's definitely a slow grower, but the flowers were so freaking cute. Yeah, I love how this plant is velvety and it has these dark margins. Okay, so those are all of the plants on the bottom shelves. So now let's go up to the top. Okay, moving on to the top shelf here. This is mostly an alocasia and Hoya shelf. All of the alocasia that you're gonna see on the top shelf I've grown from corms. So this is another silver dragon propagation from a corm. As you can see, it just put out this massive leaf after having these little small ones. This is a baby from my mother silver dragon. Next we have a alocasia black velvet. Again, this is grown from a corm, but she's doing pretty good. I've grown several alocasia black velvet from corms. I kind of want her to push out some larger leaves though before I list her or give her to a friend. It looks like it's working on a bigger one right now. I don't know if you could see that one right there. Oh, there you go. Now you can see. Yeah, it looks like a bigger one coming out right there. Okay, next is the Alocasia aslanii Red Mambo. So this one I did grow from a corm. I lost the original mother plant. This one's probably my least favorite Alocasia just because it's been very difficult for me to grow. Okay, I'm gonna stand up here because my knees are hurting, so excuse the crotch shot. Okay, next we have my Hoya this isn't Thomsonii. What is this? What are you? Hoya parviflora. This is my Hoya parviflora Splash. This plant has also been difficult for me to grow. I've put this one in multiple different conditions, and she's really only put out like 4 leaves for me. A very slow a very slow grower in my experience, but it looks like there's a new growth point coming out right there. Definitely seems to prefer higher humidity though. Whenever I had this outside of the cabinet, She was not happy. She was not doing anything. So only started to do something, a slow something, whenever I put her in the cabinet. And then back here you can see I have some philodendron micans propagations. My micans was just getting really big and out of control, so I took some cuttings and I'm gonna sell these on Facebook Marketplace. I need to top these up with water though. Okay, next we have my Hoya Bella intervariegated. If you watched my first plant chores video, you'll know that I caused this plant to have root rot, and I tried to save it and repot it back in soil, and it just did not get any better. In fact, it only got worse. So I decided that I want to save it, and so I cut it up and I'm propagating it so that I could repot it. Kind of sad, but also it's doing a lot better now. It's growing roots. There's even some new growth coming in here, here, and here. So that's a really good sign. This is a really beautiful propagation vessel that I got from Hobby Lobby actually. And I think it just looks really cute in this container. So I'm glad that I saved her. Wish her well. She's on her healing journey. And next we have another Hoya. This is my Hoya Chelsea. I actually got this plant as a cutting, as a single leaf cutting from a seller that I bought another Hoya from. I hadn't heard of this, but apparently it's a really common Hoya. I love the shape of these leaves. They're so freaking cute. Like, they look like chubby little hearts. And yeah, she's been doing really good. I have it in this really awesome copper skull, 3D printed skull planter that I got from Etsy. I'm just really happy that I got this for free and I have this in my collection now because it's so cool. Yeah, I'm obsessed. Sorry if the lighting is weird. I have this light in front of me because it's super cloudy outside, and yeah, otherwise it would just be a little too dark in here. All right, and lastly, back here we have some more alocasia propagations. These aren't doing too amazing. So I have 3 alocasia heterophylla here in the front, and even my mother alocasia heterophylla, I have issues with it being droopy, and I don't know why, but yeah, these are all definitely a little droopy. I mean, the leaves themselves look really healthy, but they're just not really staying upright. Again, these are all grown from corms, and then I have 3 alocasia poly back here, or Amazonica, that are doing okay. I have them all in this shoebox here just to keep it organized, keep them all together. I'm just waiting for these to just kind of look a little better before I sell them on Marketplace. But yeah, that was my IKEA greenhouse cabinet tour. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I love talking about plants. I hope I inspired you as well. If you were interested in doing a setup like this, it's totally worth it. It's gorgeous, eye-catching statement piece that's super functional. I absolutely love having this cabinet. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.